Hi, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Cyber Angel archetype. An archetype I'm really interested in, so yeah, let's begin. The first card is Cyber Petit Angel. It's a fairy, level 2, 300 attack, 200 defense. So the stats of this card is not super impressive, but it's okay. I mean, for a level 2 monster, that's pretty standard. The effect of the card is, if this card is summoned, you can add one Cyber Angel monster and one Machine Angel ritual from your deck to your hand. So you can choose either or. So you can either add a Cyber Angel monster or a Machine Angel ritual from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Cyber Petit Angel once per turn. So I would say this is an instant 3 of in the deck, because you know this is a searcher that allows you to basically search for all these cards. So it helps you with consistency of the deck. And I feel like that's really solid. I mean, it's not impressive when it comes to attack and effect. When it comes to attack and defense and stuff like that, it's not a very impressive card. But it is a searcher, and it allows you to kind of look through your deck and add one Cyber Angel or Machine Angel ritual. So it's pretty simple in that way, that you add one of them and you add what you need to your hand. So that's pretty cool. I think this card definitely is a 3 of in any Cyber Angel deck. I don't see you running less than that. So yeah, let's go to the next card. It's Machine Angel Ritual. It's a spell card ritual, of course. And the effect of the card is, this card can be used to ritual summon any Cyber Angel ritual monster. You must also tribute monster from your hand, field, whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon. So if you want to summon, for example, level 8 monster, you need more than 8 levels on the field or in your hand to do so. So it's pretty standard when it comes to that. So let's look over the other part of the effect. If a light monster you control will be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Here's where the card becomes really interesting. I mean, if a light monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, it says light monsters. It doesn't say Cyber Angels. Couldn't you run this card in, maybe Lightsworn or Melodious? Because, as long as this card's in your graveyard, you can banish it from there and you can basically protect your light monsters. I always felt that was kind of interesting part of the effect. Like, it gives protection to all light monsters. So this could be splashable if you can get it to the graveyard, of course. I mean, you could even run maybe a couple of Cyber Angels just to make this card work a little more. I would probably say that Lightsworn can get use of this effect more than other decks, but Melodious can also use it because they are, I believe, also light monsters. So yeah, every deck that has light monsters can use this effect. But of course the card has to be in the graveyard. So if you could have a spell or trap that you can discard this card to the graveyard to kind of activate, you could easily use this card. So I don't know. I feel like this card is really good. In Cyber Angels, this card is really, really good, because it does protect your Cyber Angels from destruction, because they're all light. But it is kind of splashable in a way as well. But I think you would want to run it to Cyber Angels mainly because of it's a ritual spell card. But you could consider running it in other decks as well. So let's go to the next card. It's Cyber Angel Idaten. Cyber Angel Idaten. And this card is a light fairy ritual, level 6, 1600 attack, 2000 defense. So stats, not very impressive, because 1600 attack is not that much, and 2000 defense is pretty standard, I would say. But it's a level 6 monster, so I wish it were a little bit higher. Maybe if they had 2000 attack and 2000 defense, it would have been a little bit cooler. I feel like when it comes to stats, it's not that good. But let's go over the effect. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add one ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. That effect is really good. So when this card is ritual summoned, you add one ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So you can add back Machine Angel Ritual if you have it in the graveyard, or you can add it from your deck to your hand. So that's pretty cool. And it says ritual spell card, so you could technically run other ritual spell cards. So it's kind of interesting. I think the first part of the effect is really good. and that definitely makes this card really playable. The artwork on this card is amazing. I think the artwork on all the cards this is kind of cute in a way. This is kind of awesome as well, if you can see it here. But I think this artwork is probably my favorite so far. But I like the first part of the effect, that you can just take a ritual spell card from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. I think that's really solid. If this card is tributed, you can make all ritual monsters you currently control gain 1000 attack and defense. This is not too bad, because I think that I don't know how, if a ritual summon is a tribute summon as well. Like, I think it counts as tributing. I don't know. But I think that when it comes to like ritual summon, I don't think it's a special summon. I think it is well, it is a type of special summoning combined with tribute summoning. So if you have this card in the field, it kind of counts as tribute summoning as much as it counts for special summoning. I think that's how it works. I'm not the biggest on the, you know, on the mechanic of how rituals work, but I think it's a pretty good effect. I mean, you can, all ritual monsters you currently control gains 1000 attack and defense. That's not bad. I mean, it's not as good as the first part of the effect, which I think is the reason to run this card, because, you know, adding back the ritual spell card, Machine Angel Ritual, that's really good, because then you can reuse it and all that, so that's a pretty solid effect. The second effect, it's good, it has its uses, but maybe not the best. Cyber Angel Benten. I always think about the cartoon Benten when I think about this card, because, you know, Benten, I like it. I like this card, I like the name. Cyber Angel Benten. It's a light fairy, level 6, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. And the artwork is amazing, of course. I love this artwork probably. I probably like this artwork a little bit better than this. But this is cool as well, man. I think they both are really awesome artwork. So, let's go over the effect. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original defense. If this card is tributed, oh yeah, of course. So you can destroy a monster and then you can deal its original defense as damage to your opponent. But it has to destroy a monster by battle and send it to a graveyard. I think that effect is probably the least useful, because this card is only 1800 attack, 1500 defense, so it's not going to run over that many monsters. I guess if you can combo it with this, and you can get out like get out this, so you can get 1000 extra attack on this card, so it becomes 2800. You could probably run over stuff, but unless you do that, I don't see you running over any big monsters or stuff like that. So, but it could be useful. The first part effect is definitely, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's game breaking, but it's really good. If this card is tributed, you can add one light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. This is part of the effect that I really like. You can add one light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand, which means that you can add, of course, the Cyber Angels are all fairies, so you can add them. I believe they're all fairy. Yeah, they are all fairies, so you can add all of them to your hand. But I also think Melodious is fairy. If I don't remember wrong, I think Melodious is fairy as well, so you could actually maybe run this in Melodious with a Cyber Angel card. You can maybe have a little bit of Cyber Angel Indian with this card and this card. I don't know, maybe you could do that in Melodious, kind of have a little bit of fusion, you know, ritual type Melodious deck. Because I do think they are fairy type monsters, and you can add one light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. So I think that's a pretty solid effect. I think this card has playability. I think the second effect is the better one, because it allows you to add a light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand, and the first part of the effect is really good as well. So I think this effect has playability. Now it's Cyber Angel Dakini. I love this card. Specifically artwork wise, it's really good. So let's go over the effect. It's a light fairy, level 8, 2700 attack, 2400 defense. So 27, 24. Really solid. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send one monster they control to the graveyard. So, you can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can make your opponent send one monster they control to the graveyard. That's solid. I mean, it does, you make your opponent send one monster to your graveyard. So that's a really solid effect. I think that just by ritual summon this card, you can make your opponent send a monster to the graveyard. That's solid. I mean, that's awesome. I think that's probably the best effect this card has. I mean, as far as what I have seen. If a ritual monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. That's pretty okay. I mean, that can definitely be useful if your opponent goes defensive. And once per turn during your end phase, you can target one ritual monster or one Machine Angel ritual in your graveyard added to your hand. So you can basically add one ritual monster or one Machine Angel ritual from your graveyard to your hand at the end phase. You can only use that effect once per turn, so you can choose one of each. You can choose either one. I mean, you can choose one Machine Angel ritual or one ritual monster. So it's kind of cool that it doesn't say Cyber Angel monster. It specifies Machine Angel ritual, but it doesn't specify Cyber Angel monster. That's kind of funny. But you can choose either or when it comes to that effect. I would say the first part of the effect, when this card is ritual summoned, you make your opponent send one monster they control to graveyard. That's the best effect. I would definitely say this once per turn at the end phase, you can add one ritual monster or one Machine Angel ritual from the graveyard to your hand. That's also a really good ability. I think this card overall is pretty good because, you know, it also has the whole effect with the piercing battle damage. That can also be pretty good. It has 2700 attack, so it can definitely run over stuff. I definitely think that this has potential as well. So, let's go over the big boss monster, Cyber Angel Vishnu. Cyber Angel Vishnu. It's a light fairy, level 10, 3000 attack, 2000 defense. You can ritual summon this card with Machine Angel Ritual. If this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls that were special summoned from your extra deck as possible. And if you do, inflict 1000 points of damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So when this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls that were special summoned from the extra deck as possible. And then you inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. That's pretty good. I mean, it's a really good burn card because if your opponent special summons from the extra deck a lot, this card is definitely going to burn them. And it's definitely 1000 per card is pretty solid. I mean, if they special summon 3 monsters and you can burn them for 3000 damage, that's pretty damn solid because then you can attack and deal another 300 damage. So yeah, it's pretty solid. I like this card. I like this a lot. Specifically because you can destroy all special summon monsters from the extra deck. And as many as possible. So all the ones that are special summoned, as many as possible. That's really good. And I think that's really cool. And then you inflict 1000 damage to your opponent for each of them. That's really good. And if you do that, this card can make a second attack during each battle phase. That's really good. So you mean, if I do... so basically... And if I do that, you can make a second attack during each battle phase. That's really solid, because then this card can attack twice. That's really good. You basically destroy as many face-up monsters from your opponent's... you basically destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls from the extra deck as possible. Then you inflict burn damage to your opponent. And then you can attack twice with this card. Yeah, that seems really fair. I mean, that seems really fair. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that would destroy a cards on the field. So basically it doesn't specify anything. Basically it just specifies cards. So once per turn during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated that would destroy a cards on the field, you can shuffle one ritual monster from your graveyard into your deck, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. I think that's pretty good because it has protection and it allows you to basically shuffle back. It allows you to shuffle back a ritual monster from your graveyard to your deck, so that's pretty solid as well. I would say this card is really good. I mean, it has protection, it has really offensive pressure, and it has burn damage, which I think is good. So overall, I think this archetype is really good. I mean, you have here you have the generic searcher of the deck that just searches everything, like Cyber Angel monsters and Machine Angel Ritual. So this searches everything in the deck. I love that. This card is your ritual spell card that protects light monsters. I love that as well. This is basically your attack gainer. You can tribute this card and then your ritual monsters gain 1000 attack and defense, which is really good. And it doesn't say until the end of turn, so I wonder if that stays. Because it says, if this card is tributed, you can make all your ritual monsters you currently control gain 1000 attack and defense. It doesn't say to end of turn, so I wonder if that stacks. That would be really good if it did. And of course, if this card's ritual summon, you can add 1 ritual spell card from your deck to or graveyard to your hand. So this can actually search the ritual spell card, which is really good. And then I of course have this card that searches a light fairy monster from your deck, which is pretty much the whole Cyber Angel archetype. And if this destroys a monster in defense mode, its original defense becomes damaged. So if it destroys by battle, of course, and sends to graveyard, its original defense becomes damaged, and it searches a light fairy type monster. So that's pretty solid as well. I would say this card is also good, and of course this one, I mean, you can't really say anything about this card. I mean, as soon as this ritual summon, you make your opponent send 1 monster they control to the graveyard. Pretty simple, without even battling. And then you do piercing damage, and then during end phase, you can add 1 ritual monster or 1 Machine Angel ritual from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty simple. And of course the last card, I mean, this is the boss monster, and pretty simple. You burn your opponent, it can do 2 attacks, and it has protection by returning a ritual monster from your graveyard to your deck to negate and destroy. So it has protection, and it burns, and it doubles attacks. And it has 3000 attack, so that's pretty solid. But tell me what you think about this archetype. Do you think this archetype can do some big things in the future? I love this archetype. I just love it. It's probably one of the archetypes I'm going to build in the future. I'm going to pick up 3 copies of every single card of these because I want to build these. I just want to build them so badly right now. I'm so hyped for this archetype. But please tell me what you think about this archetype. And as always, comment, like, subscribe down below and all that jazz. And let's see you next time. Bye.